coming to you live from our studios on Caribou Avenue, and I am Ashma Uba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. President Barrow has pledged to invest heavily in quality education and skills development in an address to the Transforming Education Summit on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York. On Tuesday, National Assembly members continued debating President Barrow's State of the Nation's address, highlighting the condition of the state, government's policies and administration of the country. Following increasing public concern about electromagnetic fields and the effects of ionizing radiation, Pura on Wednesday unveiled electromagnetic field radiation monitoring equipment to protect the public. In international news, today is the International Day of Peace, celebrated annually on the 21st of September, to strengthening the ideals of peace both within and among all nations and peoples. In sports news, Sanchaba Youths are champions of the delayed 2021 Birkama Nawetan League, beating Manduwar United 2-1 at the Birkama Boxbar Mini Stadium on Sunday. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. President Barrow has pledged to invest heavily in quality education, skills development in an address to the Transforming Education Summit on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York, where he delivered the national statement of commitment. As Alucisa reports, the First Lady, Fatoumata Barrow, also participated in a forum on zero waste campaign championed by the First Lady of the Republic of Turkey, Emin Adrawan.
The Transforming Education Summit seeks a global response to the crisis in education, which has a devastating impact on the future of children and youth worldwide. It provides an opportunity to elevate education to the top of the global political agenda and galvanize action to transform education in a rapidly changing world. President Barrow said the Gambia upholds education and skills acquisition as a right for every citizen to attain goals and commitments. He informed the summit that the country also seeks to achieve high learning and skills outcomes, with more than 80% of children reaching the minimum learning competencies and standards in line with the national education policy. Given the country's insufficient and ill-equipped digital learning platforms and incapacitated workforce, the Gambian leader renews his commitment to improving the welfare and professional development of the education workforce.
Government will invest in foundational literacy and numeracy and employ skills development initiatives that enhance independent learning creativity, interpersonal skills and critical thinking capabilities. Accordingly, government renews its commitment to strengthening the education system.
He says that in the past, the school system in the Gambia focused heavily on academic achievement, leading to the perception that TVET is reserved for academic failures. He announced that the government will establish more technical senior secondary schools, upgrade subvented tertiary institutions to degree awarding institutions, and establish tertiary TVET centers in all administrative regions. President Barrow will address the UN General Assembly on Thursday as the third speaker after the presidents of Niger and Botswana. The session starts at 9 a.m. New York time, which is 1 p.m. Gambian time. In a separate engagement, First Lady Fatoumata Barrow also graced the Zero Waste campaign championed by the First Lady of the Republic of Turkey, Emin Erdogan, at Turkey's permanent mission in New York, on the sidelines of the ongoing UN General Assembly. Her counterpart, Madam Erdogan, hosted the event as part of her Zero Waste campaign, a project she launched in 2017, which aims to contain waste and reduce pollution. Speaking at the event, Madam Erdogan thanked the Gambia's First Lady for her participation in the event. She expressed her commitment to support initiatives, campaigns, and projects which promote zero waste to encourage responsible waste production and consumption. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
And as we leave that story, a reminder of that today, the 21st of September, marks the 57th anniversary of the Gambia becoming a member of the United Nations. In other story, on Tuesday, National Assembly members continued debating on President Barrow's State of the Nation's address through the night and concluded in the early hours of the following day. The debate highlighted the condition of the state, government's policies and administration of the country. In a session attended by the Vice President, the NAMS pointed out a wide range of concerns about the state of the country and called for government's intervention. Mahmoud Lamin Choi has more.
National Assembly members were in session on the second day of debating the President's State of the Nation address. The NAMS were scrutinizing the content of the President's address, referencing burning issues in all sectors of government and the economy. It is one of the best opportunities for NAMS to speak on the condition of the nation in the presence of government officials, including cabinet ministers, some of whom were present with the Vice President in this session. Here are announced for Central Badibu and Busumbala constituencies, Suleiman Saho and Mohamed Kante respectively, submitting their take on the presidential address.
We have no hatred for Senegalese troop or Nigerian troop or Ghanaian troop in the Gambia, but we believe Gambia as a sovereign country. We have our laws, we have our military, we have our securities. They need to act as a country. That's my observation, and I believe you will carry it to the President that time has come for us to be in charge.
This draft constitution before the National Assembly, we don't want to see that, because I'm very much careful the way the statement has been read, to craft in such a way that we lose most of the fundamental provisions in that constitution.
Foreign and diaspora affairs have been among the subjects for discussion, bringing to the debate some of the challenges facing Gambians living abroad. The President's address indicated that the plight and contribution of diaspora to national development remain on top of his government's agenda. However, the absence of an immigration bottleneck facing Gambians abroad is a concern for Omar Jame, the name for Janjambure.
Looking at the speech of the President, few things that were not really reflecting in the speech was the issue of deportation in the country, which have been a great concern for our young people, and we think it will be very much important for this particular ministry to actually look at the issue of deportation and also come up with policies that can help to address the menace.
In his parliamentary debate on the President's State of the Nation address, NAMS outlined the economic importance of agriculture to the Gambia, challenges facing this sector, especially farmers, which were not highlighted by the President. Here is the NAM for Sami constituency, Alfuseni Sise.
When we look at the President's speech, he mentioned that there was bumper harvest. But in this speech, there was nothing mentioned about fertilizer. This year was a bad year for the farmers, Honorable Speaker, simply because the price of fertilizer.
The debate on the President's address continued, but at a slow pace, as many of the National Assembly members joined the debate with long lists of concerns about the condition of our country in the name of scrutinizing the performance of the executive. The debate on the State of the Nation address continued through the night and was completed at 5 a.m. on Wednesday. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Now, following increasing public concern about electromagnetic fields and the dangers they pose to human beings, the Gambia Public Utility Regulatory Authority, PURA, with funding from partners on Wednesday, unveiled electromagnetic field radiation monitoring equipment to protect the public against the effect of ionizing radiation. Omar Pijala reports.
PURA procured the equipment with support from the World Bank to effectively enhance its regulatory mandate for a robust protection system against the effects of ionizing radiation. Yusuf Job, the Director General of PURA, said despite reassuring scientific information that there is no proof of severe damage or threats to human health, PURA thought it prudent to search for viable solutions, to take measures that will determine the veracity of the public concerns.
The assessment of public possible health risks from exposure to electromagnetic fields is based on evidence of scientific studies and research. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, exposure to electromagnetic fields is not a new phenomenon. Each of us is exposed to complex array of low-level electric and magnetic fields, both at home and at the workplace.
Untitled, the project manager of Gambia Fiscal Management Development Project at the Ministry of Finance, says such equipment will enable independent verification, evaluation and validation of EMF safety in compliance with international standards.
In addition to the EMF tool, the project has supported the upgrade of the quality of service monitoring tool, 4G, and this upgrade aims to enhance Pura's ability to ensure quality broadband service and consumer protection. This will help address issues of tariff usage, particularly across voice, data, SMS platforms, and this will protect consumers from overbilling and operators from underbilling.
Amadou Nyang, the ICT director at the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, said Pura will use the equipment to check the intensity of radiation coming from EMF radiating source.
It is no secret that the government's policy direction to liberalize the telecommunications sector and the proliferation of towers and BTSs across the length and breadth of the country has brought in genuine concerns from citizens and environmentalists. It is important to indicate that while we prioritize ICTs in the transformation of lives and livelihoods of our people, it is equally important to factor in health and safety and environmental issues.
The World Bank representative Michael Yelling expressed hope that the equipment will enhance the authorities' regulatory stance for robust protection against any effects of ionizing radiation.
We believe that this technology will help Pura to independently verify, evaluate, and validate EMF safety compliance in line with international standards. This is a key step to ensuring consumer safety in the Gambia, and it's a key element to ensuring Pura is able to continue to play its essential regulatory role in the telecoms sector.
Aliu Jeng, the chairman of Pura Board of Directors, also has this to say.
The traditional role of Pura in this sector is expected to use the equipment to ascertain the intensity of radiation emanating from EMF radiation sources. In this way, it will result in effective monitoring through the help of the equipment to be launched today.
The equipment will be positioned in public places, and its impact will be measured and verified to address public fears. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
That story will lead us to a commercial break, but when we return, we have more local, international, and sports news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News with me, Ashma Oba. Now, Sanjay, a political science lecturer at the University of the Gambia, has criticized the Gambia opposition parties and some civil society organizations, calling them dormant for what he says is their lack of vibrancy to promote democratic accountability. Lola M. Kamara tells us more.
The UTG lecturer says the opposition parties are election-oriented opposition, while the civil society organizations are project-oriented. Jai added that the role of the opposition is to scrutinize the government and hold them accountable. However, he accused the opposition of being silent after the elections.
There are a lot of scandals happening in this country.
rampant corruption to inefficiency in public institutions, and a whole lot of myriad of challenges that we face as a country, from social to security, economics, all these problems that we face as a country. We have not seen the opposition talking about these things. The government needs to be pressurized.
Sanjay said since former President Yahya Jammeh left the country in 2016, there has been an increase in civil society organizations. He recognizes CSOs such as Gambia Participates and the Center for Research and Policy Development for their immense contribution in trying to promote democracy and accountability. Others, he opined, remain silent.
Most civil society organizations are project-oriented. They win projects and then they implement these projects and that's it. But when it comes to holding the government to account, ensuring that laws are respected in the country, we don't see that vibrancy in civil society. I mean, there are a lot of things that happen in this country, from the Banjul Road project to the security port issue as well. Tax laws have been violated, the procurement laws have been violated, the public finance laws have been violated in this country in some of these projects. And we don't see the civil society coming out to hold the government to account, to put pressure on the government to make sure that it abides by the laws of the country.
According to Njai, oppositions are shadow governments. In other words, governments in waiting, he further explained.
They should be prepared that at any moment they can come in government. They should be having clear policies and programs that must differ from that of the ruling party.
The UTG lecturer had the suggestions to strengthen government and the opposition.
To strengthen them, the laws must be there, but the laws are already there. There is no particular law in this country that is stopping opposition parties and civil society from holding their government to account. So I think they just need to take the bull by the horn, make sure that they play their role, holding the government to account, but also importantly, we need informed citizenry. We need to educate our citizens about the role of opposition, the role of government in a democratic society.
Mr. Njai concluded that without a vibrant opposition and civil society organizations to keep the government in check, we face the danger of losing the democratic gains we have made. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
We now look at news beyond our borders. Today is International Day of Peace, celebrated annually on the 21st of September. The day is devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace, both within and among all nations and peoples. This year's celebration is on the theme, End Racism, Build Peace. Ajibintu Rame has more.
In a divided world, the day is dedicated to making a new world free of racism and racial discrimination. The International Day of Peace, also officially known as World Peace Day, was established in 1981 by the UN General Assembly. In 2001, the General Assembly unanimously voted to designate the day as a period of non-violence and ceasefire. On this day, as has become a tradition, a series of activities take place, such as observing a moment of silence, praying for peace, sing songs about peace, making posters promoting the agenda in public places and in some schools, holding an assembly and take a peace pledge. Life is better in a world where peace exists. However, today we are less likely to die in war than our grandparents. Nonetheless, we live in a world where spiraling territorial power, political unrest, and crimes against humanity, amongst other disruptions, are the order of the day, clearly overturning the definition of peace. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said, and I quote, "Racism continues to poison institutions, social structures, and everyday life in every society. It continues to be a driver of persistent inequality, and it continues to deny people their fundamental human rights. It destabilizes societies, undermines democracies, erodes the legitimacy of governments, and the linkages between racism and gender inequality are unmistakable." End of quote. The celebration of peace varies between countries. For the UN this year, the program will begin with the traditional Peace Bell ceremony in the Peace Garden, where the Secretary General and the President of the General Assembly will ring the peace bell. This will follow by a youth observance in the Economic and Social Council chamber, in which more than 500 students will interact with the Secretary General and high-profile artists and activists. Young people will present projects that illustrate the action they have taken to combat racism and thereby foster peace. The hope we hold on to is that one day We will have a world where peace prevails every day, not just for one day in September. Ajipintu Drame, QTV News.
From that story will lead us to our sports news. Sanjaba Youths are champion of the delayed 2021 Brikama Nawetan League, beating Mandwari United 2-1 at the Brikama Box Bar Mini Stadium. On Sunday, our sports reporter Momodo Gajaga watched the final and he now reports.
A 3-goal trailer in the second half settled the delayed Brikama Nawetan League Cup final. Sanjaba Youth took the lead through a thumping Dembo Marina header just 2 minutes into the second half. Usman Dabo doubled their advantage with a powerful header after Lamin Fadera's beautiful cross. Mandua reduced the deficit moments later when Alpha Balde was adjudged to have been fouled in the box. Omar Gassama stepped up to convert the penalty. Earlier in the game, both teams missed great chances, but Mandua United will look back, regretting how they missed chances that could have been converted to goals. As champions, Sanchaba Youth's Lamin Fadera was awarded the best player of the tournament. He shared his feelings with QTV.
No, Condano Warrala, you know, because to be a best player is not easy. Yeah, so there's a lot of players here. So yeah, I need to select him.
I am happy that my effort on the pitch is recognized. As a player who used to play in the first division, I want to play at a higher level, not Nawetan anymore. Sanchaba Youth coach has no doubt that they deserve to be champions.
You know, I can say winning this trophy, it is a big thing for me because where we come from, we never won a trophy. So this is the first time, you know, winning a major trophy, and then it happens to be me. So I think I have to feel happy for that matter.
Lamin Bojang, coach of Manduar, reflected on his team's missed opportunities during the game.
Yeah, game over, it's not a bad result, you understand? Because after game one on the side, and capitalized Kata. So without Tonda, but on the side after Maluki. So we got game over because we did a chance of the 2 chances to really score. After another coma, we got fight back. After looking at 1 goal, the match after game end.
The atmosphere at the Brikama Mini Stadium was electric, as fans of both Sanchaba Youth and Mandwar United cheered their players. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
That's it for the news, but before we go, a recap of our main news headlines. President Barrow has pledged to heavily invest in quality education and skills development in an address to the Transforming Education Summit on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York. On Tuesday, National Assembly members continue debating on President Barrow's State of the Nation address, highlighting the condition of the state government's policies and administration of the country. Following increase in public concern about electromagnetic fields and the effects of the ionizing radiation, Bureau on Wednesday unveiled electromagnetic field radiation monitoring equipment to protect the public. In international news, today is International Day of Peace, celebrated annually on the 21st of September, to strengthening the ideals of peace both within and among all nations and peoples. In sports news, Sanchaba Youths are champion of the delayed 2021 Brikama Nawetan League, beating Mandwari United 2-1 at the Brikama Boxbar Mini Stadium on Sunday. That's all for the news. Thanks for watching. Join us at 10 for more news. Bye.